Hey everyone, I'm Michael. Before we dive in, let me ask you something that's probably been on your mind, even if you haven't said it out loud. Have you ever looked around and thought, wow, this whole thing feels rigged? Like, no matter how hard you grind, you're just spinning your wheels. And meanwhile, there's this tiny group of people who seem to glide through life, barely breaking a sweat. You're young, you're hungry, and honestly, you're tired of being fed lies about money. I get it. I've been there. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people won't say out loud. Society wants to hand you a neat little box and tell you to be happy with it. Go to school, get a so-so job, maybe save up for a week at the beach once a year if you're lucky. Lock yourself into a mortgage, pay off a car for years, contribute to a 401k you can't touch without getting penalized. And if you ever dare to say, hey, I want more, I want to be rich, they slap a label on you. Greedy, selfish, like there's something wrong with wanting freedom, with wanting to actually have choices. But think about it. What's really greedy? Is it greedy to want to take care of your family, or to wake up when you want and work because you choose to? Is it greedy to help your parents when they get older, or to send your kids to a better school, or to give back to causes that matter to you? No way. Greed is when the system keeps you stuck while a handful of people at the top enjoy all the perks. Greed is corporations paying garbage wages while their CEOs collect millions. Greed is banks and funds charging you invisible fees that eat away at everything you save. I saw that early on. I always wanted to be rich, not for the cars or the bragging rights, but for freedom, total freedom. So when I was in my 20s, I quit my job. No backup plan, no trust fund, no fancy connections, just this burning need to get out of the rat race. And a few years later, I was a multimillionaire. Not because I got lucky, not because someone handed it to me. It was a system. It was a mindset. And you know what? Anyone willing to put in the work can use it too. This is Investor Voice, and I'm Michael. Here we cut out the fairy tales. No get-rich-quick nonsense. No empty promises that you'll make millions just by watching a video. What you get here are real strategies that actually work, even if they're tough to hear sometimes. So tonight, I'm going to walk you through my 5-stage process for building real wealth while you're still young. This isn't theory. I didn't pull it from some bestseller. This is the actual roadmap I followed, and I've seen it work for tons of others who started from nothing. Ready? Let's go. So what's the fastest way to get rich? Drop shipping, crypto, day trading? That's the trap, right? Everywhere you look, there's a new expert shouting about the next big thing. Real estate, options trading, start a clothing brand, do affiliate marketing. It's endless. And what happens? You get overwhelmed. You're so afraid of choosing wrong that you don't choose at all. Years go by. You're still just watching from the sidelines while everyone else seems to be moving forward. You become an expert at spectating, but not at playing. Here's what matters. Life isn't an exam with one right answer. There are many ways to build wealth: real estate, business, stocks, content creation. The specific route matters less than picking one and going all in. If you're too scared to choose, life chooses for you. The default is average. If you want more, you have to chase it. Stage 1 is drifting. People in this stage float through life, letting things happen instead of steering. They bounce between jobs, try side hustles that never work, and hope luck lands in their lap. It's like being a boat without a rudder. They're never in control. Remember, if you aren't building your own dream, someone else will hire you to build theirs. That's what happens when you drift. Nobody wakes up thinking how to make you rich. The only person looking out for your success is you. So ask yourself, are you drifting? Look at your habits. Are you moving toward a goal or just reacting? When you have free time, do you get better at something or scroll your phone? When problems come, do you find a fix or just complain? Your answers matter. I meet young people who say they want to be rich, but their actions tell a different story. They sleep late, lose hours to TikTok, blame the economy, their boss, bad luck. Then comes the lie. Money doesn't make you happy anyway. Money doesn't make you happy? Try saying that to someone who can't afford medicine, or a family facing eviction, or someone trapped in a toxic job with no savings. Being broke guarantees misery. Money comes with freedom. The happiest rich people aren't happy because of fancy stuff. They're happy because they have choices. They don't answer to anybody. When life throws something at them, they have a cushion. Nothing shameful about wanting wealth. Poverty just means fewer choices come your way. Here's the truth. A drifter never builds real wealth from scratch. Maybe they get lucky. Maybe there's a handout, a lottery win, or a surprise inheritance. But they don't become rich through their own actions. They never build the skills or the mindset. And if they do get lucky, it slips away fast because they never learned how to keep it. You see it all the time. Lottery winners usually end up worse off than before. It's not a coincidence. They never learned the skills. So how do you stop drifting? That's stage 2, obsession. You can change your life in a single moment by deciding to become obsessed with getting rich. I know obsession sounds intense. If that word makes you cringe, examine your beliefs about money. Building wealth is an extreme goal. Hardly anyone achieves it. You wouldn't expect to become an Olympic athlete by working out once a week, or trust a brain surgeon who skimmed textbooks. So why treat wealth building differently? Young people say they want to be rich, but they also want to learn guitar, run marathons, travel, and binge Netflix. If a friend said they'd be a pro footballer while doing all that, you'd laugh. Pro athletes dedicate everything to their craft. Building wealth is no different. I've been at this for decades. If I hadn't gone all in during my younger years, I'd still be working for someone else, dreaming of freedom I'd never reach. Obsession means saying no, a lot. You miss parties. Friends call you boring. That's the price, and it's worth it. Michael Jordan was obsessed with basketball. Elon Musk is obsessed with his companies. That's what separates ordinary from outstanding. But obsession alone isn't enough. You need direction. That's stage 3, discovery. You get paid in proportion to the value you provide. If you're not rich yet, it's because you haven't figured out how to create enough value. So how do you become more valuable? This is the part where most people freeze. They think they need some genius idea. They think they have to invent Facebook or spot the next Bitcoin before it blows up. They think only visionaries win. But you don't need to be a genius. You don't have to dream up something totally new. Just look around. Find something that's already working for others and ask, how do I do that too? Maybe even do it better. The fastest way to get really good at making money is to find someone already ahead of you and copy their moves. This is called modeling. Every successful person does it, whether they admit it or not. They find someone who's nailed what they want, break down exactly what that person did, and then follow that blueprint. They don't waste time reinventing the wheel, they just follow the path. Right now, some solid paths are out there. Video editing, copywriting, drop shipping, deal negotiation, short-form content, running an eBay shop. There's digital marketing, web development, graphic design, social media management, virtual assistants. The list goes on. Pick one, just one. Don't try to juggle them all. Get really good at one thing before moving on. Back in my 20s, when I started thinking about opening my first business, a radio control model shop, I didn't just leap in blind. I didn't sign a lease and cross my fingers. I didn't guess what people wanted. Instead, I took a Saturday job at a local model shop. Yeah, it was weekends and the pay wasn't much, but that wasn't the point. The real payoff was learning. I soaked up everything, asked questions all the time, talked to customers, jotted down anything useful. Even more important, I noticed the owner's headaches, what customers griped about, what products nobody bought, what people wanted but couldn't find. I even spent Sundays at the Flying Club, chatting with modelers about what they wished the shop stocked. I built relationships. I learned the business from the inside out. Let's be real. You probably don't dream of running a model shop, but the idea here works for any high-earning skill. Find someone who's already reached the level you want. Figure out how they did it. It's basically a shortcut. You get to see their roadmap, skip the dumb mistakes, and move faster than they did. Why bang your head against the wall alone when you can learn from someone who's already figured it out? Your blueprint person doesn't have to be some big name. Honestly, it's usually better if they aren't. If they're making money from their actual skill, not just selling courses, they're the real deal. You'll find them hanging out on Discord, Instagram, at events. Just treat them like people. Show some respect. Give before you ask. Let them see you're in it for real. Now for stage 4, acceleration. You've got a plan. So now it's about closing the gap. Don't wait. Start, even if you're nervous or totally lost. Action teaches you things planning never will. You'll see what you need to learn. You'll start building momentum. Offer your services for free at first, just to get your foot in the door and build some proof. Grab testimonials. Launch your store today, not after you've tweaked it for months. Your first results? They'll probably be rough. That's fine. Jordan got cut. Rolling got turned down. Every pro started as a rookie who just wouldn't give up. Here's the real trick. Honest feedback. Not your mom, not your friends. They care about your feelings, not your progress. You need it from people who know what they're talking about and won't sugarcoat things. That's how you actually get better. This is why most people never change. They do the same thing over and over, get the same mediocre results, and wonder why nothing's different. You've heard the line, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. Acceleration isn't just about working longer hours. It's about getting the right advice, seeing what's holding you back, being open to criticism, and smart enough to use it. You need people outside your usual circle who'll tell you the truth, even when it stings. You need mentors and coaches, folks who've already walked the path you're on. Find communities where people are actually doing what you want to do. Put your work out there, get real feedback, and be ready for it to hurt a little. That's what makes you better. This part is tough. You put in the work, get some feedback, then dive back in. It gets lonely. Old friends don't really understand why you're grinding so hard. They just want to hang out. At the same time, you're not at the level yet to connect with new peers. You're just stuck between worlds. I've seen my son go through this. He spent years working alone while most people gave up. It takes wild dedication to keep going. You've got to find your crew, people who are hustling right alongside you. They'll keep you moving, trade tips, and make it feel less isolating. Join groups. Show up at events. Don't try to do it all on your own. Then comes stage 5, freedom. If you stick with it, real money starts coming in. You can work from anywhere, and you don't have to answer to anyone. That feeling? Nothing compares. But don't mix up being rich with being wealthy. You can waste money on flashy stuff, or you can reinvest it. Truly wealthy people don't care about showing off. Cars lose value fast. Clothes go out of style. Money you invest, though, keeps growing. It compounds and sets you up for life. Don't rob your future self just to look good now. So how do you actually reinvest? Let me break it down. When I was younger, I wasn't content with just one paycheck. I built up several streams, some passive like index funds, crypto, and stocks. Every month, no excuses, I put money in the S&P 500. Over the years, that money just snowballed. I invested in real estate too. It paid me back with rent and grew in value. I started businesses, invested in others, and kept some money in bonds for a safer bet. But here's what mattered most. I invested in myself. I bought books, took courses, found mentors, paid for coaching. I went to conferences and actually met people who changed my perspective. I spent money on tools and resources that made me better at what I do. I made my health a priority because honestly, what's the point of wealth if you're not healthy? The smartest investment you can make is in yourself, your skills, your knowledge, your health, your network. Those things don't lose value, they only get better. Most people don't get this. They blow their cash on junk. They'll drop $1,000 on the latest phone, but won't spend a couple hundred learning something new. They'll spend $50 on dinner, but won't buy a book that could actually change their life. Hundreds on clothes, but nothing toward understanding how money works. That's why they never build real wealth. They care more about looking rich than actually being rich. Think about it for a second. Every time you waste money on pointless stuff, you're robbing your future self. Every dollar you spend could have been invested and multiplied. With compound interest, $1 today could turn into 10, 20, even $50. So when you buy stuff you don't need, it's not just $1 gone. It's all the future dollars you're throwing away. Wealthy people keep reinvesting into skills, businesses, and investments. People stuck in the rat race, they spend to impress each other. That's the real difference. Even when you're financially free, you've got to keep learning. Spend time every day reading, watching things that teach you something, and staying connected with people who matter. This pays off more than any stock or property ever will. A $20 book could seriously change your life. That's as close to infinite return as you'll get. Mark Tilbury, he's a self-made millionaire I really respect, talks about focusing on what you can actually control. There are only two levers, what you earn and what you spend. Most people obsess over cutting costs, but boosting your income is where the real magic happens. You can only cut back so much, but your income, that can go through the roof if you play it right. He's got a simple plan. Half your income for essentials, a quarter for investing, 15% for savings, 10% for fun. Solid, right? Notice how investing comes before fun. That's what sets you up for real wealth. And here's the thing I buy into completely. Building wealth isn't about having a huge salary. It's about discipline, effort, and time. You can make a ton and still end up broke if you spend it all. Or you can earn a modest amount and build something solid if you're smart with it. Consistency is everything. It's not about what you rake in, it's about what you keep and how you grow it. Look at the wealthiest people you know. Sure, some make a lot, but plenty don't. Many are regular folks who saved and invested month after month, year after year. They drove old cars, lived in smaller places, while neighbors leased fancy rides and splurged on trips. Now those neighbors are still working, and the savers, they're retired and comfortable. That's what discipline gets you. Let me leave you with this. That first 10 grand, it's a grind. The first real skill you pick up, It feels impossible until you do it. That lonely stretch when you're pushing through and no one else gets it, it's rough. No way around it. But if you keep going, you end up somewhere most people can't even picture. You get real freedom. You get to wake up excited, knowing you actually control your day. Money stops being this thing you stress about all the time. It just becomes a tool. You finally get to focus on what actually matters to you. It's not about whether you can do it. You can. Tons of people have done it before, starting from less than you've got right now. The real question is, will you start tonight? Will you quit drifting, get obsessed, and actually find a path that works? Will you push through the hard, lonely bits and claim the freedom you want? Are you willing to make the sacrifices your future self will thank you for? Here's the truth. 5 years from now, you'll be right where you are today, unless you change the people you meet, the books you read, and the habits you build. Keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting the same results. If you want something different, you have to act differently. And honestly, there's no better time to start than right now. It's not about whether you can do it. You can. Tons of people have done it before, starting from less than you've got right now. The real question is, will you start tonight? Will you quit drifting, get obsessed, and actually find a path that works? Will you push through the hard, lonely bits and claim the freedom you want? Are you willing to make the sacrifices your future self will thank you for? Here's the truth. 5 years from now, you'll be right where you are today, unless you change the people you meet, the books you read, and the habits you build. Keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting the same results. If you want something different, you have to act differently. And honestly, there's no better time to start than right now.